Coming up on Mountain News this morning, one man is dead after a fire in Pike County this past weekend. And people in Floyd County are facing dangerous wait times for emergency services, but officials are taking steps to fix the problem. Plus, as Black Jewel miners begin their third week of protesting, another coal company has laid off close to 50 miners.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6 o'clock on Tuesday, August the 13th. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News this morning. Well, you're in a severe weather alert day on my first day back from vacation, and we're expecting to see some rain. But the good news is that those storms could bring those temperatures down. Let's bring in Brandon Robinson for a breakdown of just what to expect. And Brandon, you've said as the day goes on, it's starting to be a tiny bit more clear at the timing of when we should expect this stuff, right?
Exactly, and as I said at 5, it's a nowcasting event. Everybody keeps asking, what's the time frame? What's the time frame? I can tell you that there's going to be some this morning and there'll be some this afternoon, at least based on the models that are finally starting to line up, the short-term models, the short-range models we call them. So we'll have more on that in a second. Let's get you into live pinpoint Doppler radar this morning, and welcome back to Will, by the way. Folks were asking me if he's gone or if he left or whatever, but he's back. He's here. We're looking at live pinpoint Doppler radar. That band in central Kentucky starting to die out, but we're still watching these showers and storms basically through parts of Magoffin and Johnson over into Floyd and Martin counties over into southern West Virginia. Lawrence County been getting hammered all morning long. We're kind of keeping an eye on the high water issues there. Some fog down in the Cumberland Valley, less than a mile there at Harlan and Jacksboro. Be careful of that. 5 miles at Jonesville over in Virginia, so just be careful of that as well. Temperatures finally got down into the upper 60s in Middlesboro. Everybody else in the 70s this morning. Your app forecast today. This is a very important tool to have. Download that for free on Android, Apple devices, tablets, and you see scattered chances for showers and storms are around today. That app will also give you any warnings as they come in for your local area. The rest of that forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. Will?
I use mine even when I'm out of town. I use it here in the mountains and when I'm back home anywhere. It's a great asset to have. Thank you, Brandon. Well, one Bell County man is facing federal charges this morning after police say they found a gun and other items inside of his truck at the Pentagon earlier this month. Court documents report Charles Lawson of Pineville approached 2 Pentagon police officers saying he was there for, quote, liberty business. Lawson told officers he had left his Pineville home the night before and came straight to the military facility. Police took Lawson to a Virginia hospital for a mental health evaluation where they discovered he has a history of mental health issues and was not supposed to have the gun. Lawson is charged with unlawfully possessing a firearm. Meanwhile, one Clay County mother is trying to come to grips with why another mom did not get her child immediate help when she learned he was burned. We told you about this story last month. The deputies say Angela Guth's son poured boiling hot water on his friend. It was part of the so-called hot water challenge. Deputies charged Guth in the case. Authorities yesterday, she had a not guilty plea entered on her behalf. WYMT's Phil Pendleton talked to the victim's mom in court.
And he's doing okay. He done good. He's
back at school just a few weeks after these pictures of a horrible injury were taken.
He's going to be okay, though, because God's got him.
They were told that he'd be in the hospital 6 to 8 weeks, but he's home now. He did have a lot of physical pain at first, and now it's psychological.
The nightmares, his trying to sleep at night, he's not sleeping good. When he does, he dreams, and he's constantly dreaming. He's having anger outbursts. He gets mad, and he don't know why.
This session of Clay District Court is called to order.
The injury has resulted in criminal charges. Police say Angela Guth did not seek immediate medical care when her son poured the hot water on Billy Oliver in what's called a hot water challenge.
After football practice, my son went home with her son.
She says her son was asleep when the water was poured on him, causing 2nd and 3rd degree burns. She says she learned of the injury some 9 hours later.
That sort of is a hard thing to swallow when you know, you could have stopped my child's injury if you would have just seek help for him. Just took him, called 911, anything.
The county attorney says he cannot comment on the case regarding Goose's son since he's a juvenile. In Clay County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Guth will be back in court on August 26th for a preliminary hearing. She is currently free on bond. Meanwhile, a Corbin man is facing charges accused of sexually assaulting a pizza delivery driver. Police arrested Michael Phipps Sunday. The victim told deputies Phipps asked to see her naked before sticking his hand down her shirt and grabbing her breast. During their investigation, deputies say Phipps' story did not line up. He is charged with sexual abuse. Yesterday afternoon, it was announced that Breathitt County Judge Executive Jeff Noble was indicted. He is facing 3 charges, including abuse of public trust, after buying lumber with county money for private use. Noble bought lumber for someone wanting to fix a bridge on his own property. Noble's attorney says the bridge was not on private property, but on county property.
Should I bypass the earliest grand jury and hold it for a month, that the public perception would be that the sheriff's office has an interest, and we've allowed him an additional 30 days to prepare his defense.
The judge set Noble's bond at $250,000. Noble says he is on a pre-planned family vacation. He was advised to turn himself in when he returns. A fire in Pike County during the weekend killed one man. Benny Tackett died in his Elkhorn Creek home Saturday night. His brothers and sisters say they hope his giving nature and love for the Lord is what he will be remembered for. Even while fighting cancer, they say he was always more concerned about others. They say this is not a surprise given his many sacrifices, even at a young age.
When our dad died, my brother Benny stepped in as the head of the family. He cherished every one of us as just like we belonged to him.
Tackett's funeral arrangements will be updated in our web story when they are available. One man is dead and 3 homes were badly damaged after a fire in Logan County early Monday morning. Man Fire Department officials say the fire happened just after 2:30 on Amethyst Drive, quickly spreading to 2 neighboring homes, leaving one at a complete loss and melting the side of another. Investigators say the victim lived alone in the home where the fire started. The neighbors were able to get out safely. Those neighbors say they are thankful to be alive, but are still trying to cope.
They come over and started spraying my house, and so I wouldn't lose mine because I was worried about, of course, losing my house.
Fire marshals are investigating the cause of the fire. Well, investigators in Pennsylvania want to figure out what caused a deadly daycare fire Sunday. At least 5 children died, including a 9-month-old boy. The news is hard for the town of Eram, especially at the fire department. One firefighter lost 3 kids. He had no idea his 2 daughters, ages 8 and 4, and his 6-year-old son were trapped in the burning home child care center. This is their mother, Shavonna Overton.
They were just loving kids. They played. They had lots of friends, family. Everybody bonded with them. Not feeling their touch, hearing their voice. I can't even go in my house. I can't see their things.
The fire chief says the house lacks smoke detectors and there were a lot of extension cords with many things plugged into them. The daycare owner was flown to a hospital for treatment. Police in Whitley County say a teenager died in an ATV crash in the Canada Town community of Whitley County on Saturday. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talks to officers and has more.
As a first responder, police say they have to respond to unfortunate calls on a daily basis, but some are worse than others.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You're going to get a bad call, and it's going to stick with you.
Police say Saturday was one of those days when they got a call to go to D4 Road for a wreck where someone was injured on an ATV.
It was a 4-wheeler versus a pickup truck.
Police say Whitley EMS responded quickly and did everything they could before he was flown to the University of Tennessee Medical Center. Hospital officials tell us that 19-year-old James E. Four died at the hospital. Those that knew James and got to know his kind heart say he was a pleasure to live around.
He had stopped several times this summer at my house to invite my children to go to Bible school with him, and just a really sweet boy.
Neighbors say the loss of Four is a devastating blow to their family-like, close-knit area.
Just heartbroken heartbroken for the family, for the community.
A medical examination was performed, but we do not know the results yet. In Whitley County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Whitley County officers say this is an ongoing death investigation. Well, during an emergency, usually dial 911 for help. Many expect ambulance services to quickly respond, but that may not be the case in some areas of Floyd County. Officials say the ambulance industry is dealing with an emergency of its own. Understaffing is a main cause of delayed response time from Lifeguard Emergency Medical Services. Director of Operations Bert Absher says he and his team are working on resolving the issue.
We're going to do whatever it takes to entice people to come to this career field so we can better serve our communities.
A $5,000 paramedic hire-on bonus and tuition assistance are a couple of things Absher hopes will help. Another coal company has laid off close to 50 miners. Those miners with JRL Coal in Harlan County just received their notice Monday morning. One of the laid-off miners says he heard rumors of the layoffs coming, but was not expecting the news this soon. He said this is becoming normal in eastern Kentucky.
It's good today and bad tomorrow. You can go in and have a job today, and tomorrow you can get laid off. Then 2 weeks from now you can get called back.
The JRL layoffs come 3 weeks after black jewel miners began their protest after not getting paid. That protest on the railroad tracks in Cumberland continues.
Those miners and everybody else that's going to be outside today will need the rain gear and to be able to track these storms because it could be a little bit rough later on this afternoon. Definitely a nowcasting event with what's going on right now. This is a forecasting event, but we see showers and storms rolling through most of the eastern half of the region this morning, starting to pop up off to the central parts of the area too. But for the most part, just kind of hanging out there in those eastern counties, big sandy counties outside WYMT this morning. Sun getting ready to try to climb in the sky. Not a whole lot of clouds here just yet, but those will continue to push through off and on throughout the day. Visibility is low in the Cumberland Valley and up in areas where it's rained or is raining right now, so you're seeing low visibilities up that way toward Prestonsburg and Ashland. Temperatures anywhere between about 70 and 75 right now across our region. One lone spot in the 60s there, Middlesboro at 69. 89 your forecast high if we get some sunshine this afternoon, which could help destabilize the atmosphere even more. 70% chance of scattered showers and storms. I'll have more of that forecast coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Will?
We'll be back with you, Brandon. Thank you, sir. Well, thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. The University of Pikeville recently received a grant that could help the opioid crisis in Appalachia. And for the first time in more than 10 years, drug overdose deaths are down in Kentucky. We will have the latest details.